Welcome back to the Next Level You podcast, where we help you build the bridge between your now and your next. I am your host, Myaria Johnson, joined by my co-host and mother, Dr. Miriam Johnson.
Hello. Our last episode explored how SMART goals and agile thinking work together. We shared how SMART goals provide structure and clarity, while agile offers flexibility and room for adjustment. Today, we are diving into the glue that holds it all together, something we call a quiet superpower: self-regulation.
Self-regulation turns intention into sustained progress. It's the ability to pause, reflect, and shift your approach when needed without abandoning the goal or losing momentum. It's the bridge between SMART goals and agile execution. It's what allows you to reflect during check-ins, adjust when something is not working, stay grounded through setbacks and small wins, and pivot when priorities shift without feeling like you failed. So if SMART gives you direction and agile provides a system, self-regulation keeps you aligned with your purpose when life inevitably gets in the way. Let's get into it.
Let's start with the basics. Self-regulation is a theory that psychologist Albert Bandura used to describe people's ability to regulate their behaviors. Self-regulation is managing your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, especially when things are not going according to plan. It is about being proactive instead of reactive. In the context of goal setting, self-regulation helps you adjust rather than give up. It enables you to avoid spiraling when life does not follow the script.
Let's revisit our SMART goal from our last episode. I will lose 30 pounds in 6 months. This goal checks every SMART box. It's specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. But what happens when you get off track, when your schedule changes, when your motivation fades, when the scale doesn't reflect your effort? That's when self-regulation kicks in. It's the inner voice that says, let's pause. What's working? What's not working? And what do I need to shift to keep going? And that's exactly when agile becomes a valuable partner in the process.
We have learned that people do not usually fail because they did not set a SMART goal. They struggle because they did not create a system that supports the ups and downs of real life. That is what self-regulation is, a system to check in, not to check out.
That's right. And I want to add that self-regulation isn't just for major life goals. It's useful in everyday moments, such as navigating stress at work, managing a busy household, staying consistent with a routine, or even deciding how to show up in your relationships.
Absolutely. It helps you respond to challenges with intention rather than impulse. That's the kind of leadership, both personal and professional, that makes a long-term difference.
SMART goals are great for defining the destination. They give you clarity around what you want to achieve, by when, and how you'll measure it. But here's the challenge. SMART goals don't tell you what to do when things change. Now, let's go back to that weight loss goal. Maybe your work schedule shifts and gym time is no longer realistic, or your meal prep routine gets thrown off during a stressful season. Without self-regulation, two things often happen. You try to force a plan that no longer fits and burn out, or you abandon the goal entirely. That's why we say SMART goals give you the what, agile gives you the how, and self-regulation is the internal compass that helps you navigate the in-between.
And sometimes that internal compass gets tested the most when things look like they're going off track. But we learn through self regulation that being off track does not mean you failed. It means that you've got new data you can work with if you're willing to slow down and check in.
It's also important to remember that SMART goals, while structured, are often framed at the outcome level. But progress lives in the process. That's where the agility and the reflection matter most.
We often underestimate the power of allowing our plans to evolve. Self regulation permits you to make thoughtful changes, not because you're giving up, but because you're growing wiser about what is needed. Agile is more than a tech term, it's a mindset you can apply daily. Here's how Agile supports your ability to self regulate. Iteration. Work in shorter time blocks, weekly or bi weekly sprints. Reflection. Regular check ins to ask what's working, what's not working. Adaptation. Change the approach without changing the goal.
Think of it like this: your SMART goal is your GPS destination. Agile is the turn by turn recalculation. And self regulation is you behind the wheel, focused, aware, and adaptable to change.
Agile invites you to expect change and not to be caught off guard by it. You make space for the fact that growth is not linear, which is not a flaw. Instead, it is a natural progression.
And progress is personal. One person's pivot is another person's breakthrough. When you normalize change and make space to respond to it, you start creating habits that can sustain you through any season, not just the perfect ones.
Think about how many times people start over at the beginning of the year, or after a birthday, or a big milestone. What if instead of starting over, we just paused, reflected, and adjusted? That is the power of Agile and self-regulation working together.
Now, let me share a personal story about one of the biggest SMART goals I've ever set: earning my MBA, or Master's in Business Administration. When I graduated with my bachelor's in computer science, I knew I wanted to return to school. And at first, I had planned to pursue a Master's of Science in computer science. But once I entered the corporate world, I realized my tech background wasn't enough on its own. I was in meetings where business strategy was discussed, and I found myself wanting to contribute more. I had the technical know-how, but I wanted to speak the language of the business. I wanted to bridge that gap. So I pivoted. I set a new SMART goal: earn my MBA in 2 years while working full-time. That sounded realistic until life started getting really busy. I worked full-time during the day, attended class in the evenings, and did homework on weekends. And in between all of that, I was trying to maintain relationships, care for family, and show up for myself. I very quickly realized that something had to give. And that's when self-regulation became essential. I paused, reflected, adjusted my pace, and gave myself permission to choose what was sustainable rather than what looked impressive on paper. I made a new plan. I took 1 class per semester instead of 2. I opted for online courses when possible. I had honest conversations with my manager to adjust my work hours when needed. And I even took a whole semester off just to catch my breath. It took me 5 years to complete the MBA instead of 2, but I finished. And I finished stronger, wiser, and more balanced than I would have if I'd forced myself to stick to the original plan. That's what self-regulation looks like in action. It's not about giving up. It's about realigning with what matters most without burning out.
We created the Next Check In framework to help you apply self regulation to your goals through a weekly or bi weekly self regulation practice that helps keep your goals alive and responsive. NEXT is an acronym for Notice, Evaluate, Experiment, and Track. Let's break down what Next Check In framework looks like. N is for notice. What's happening right now? Are you making progress? Feeling stuck? Check in on your behaviors and emotions without judgment. E is for evaluate. What's helping you? What's holding you back? Is your strategy still aligned with your values and capacity? X is for experiment. What's one new thing you can try this week? Maybe it's simplifying your task list. Perhaps it's asking for help. Possibly it is just being kinder to yourself. T is for track. How will you measure what matters? This could be consistency, energy, sleep quality, mood, or engagement. Your progress is not just about numbers.
And what I love about this framework is that it can grow with you. You can do a quick version in 5 minutes or go deeper in your journal or coaching session. It's flexible, just like the rest of the Agile approach. You can use it to manage a career pivot, launch a project, prepare for a big presentation, or even reset your morning routine. It's not just about your goals. It's about your relationship with the process of reaching them. Let's walk through a few real-life examples to bring this framework to life. First up, career advancement. Notice when you're putting in long hours, but your contributions aren't being recognized. Evaluate if you've been so focused on getting things done that you haven't communicated your impact. Experiment by sending a short weekly update to your manager, just a quick summary of what you accomplished. And track whether that leads to more recognition, helpful feedback, or new opportunities over time.
Next, health and wellness. Notice when you have fallen out of your routine. Maybe you have stopped meal prepping or skipped a few workouts. Evaluate what's been going on. Maybe back-to-back travel or a packed work schedule threw you off. Experiment with small shifts like taking 20-minute walks or keeping healthy snacks nearby. Track your energy and mood around 3 p.m. each day. Those afternoon slumps say a lot.
And finally, saving $3,000 in 3 months. Notice where your money's going. Maybe it's food delivery, ride shares, or convenience purchases. Evaluate why. Are you just too tired or overwhelmed to plan ahead? Experiment by setting aside time on Sundays to prep meals and plan your week's travel. Track your weekly bank balance and spending in a budget app to see how those changes add up.
These check-ins help you reach your goal by making you more aware of how your habits and environment supports or sabotages your progress. When you reflect often, you stay in tune with your values, capacities, and the next phase of your life.
Self-regulation isn't about being perfect. It's about being present. It helps you shift from, I blew it, to, let me adjust. You can't control everything, but you can check in. You can make small shifts. You can keep going without grinding yourself into the ground. So this week, here's your challenge. Pick one SMART goal. Do a next check-in. Write down your thoughts and make a change, no matter how small. Then track your growth, even if it's just a little more energy or less stress.
If something is not working, pivot, pause, and rest. You are allowed to realign. This is your journey, and your pace is valid. True consistency does not equate to stubbornness. It embodies a dynamic conversation with your growth. And that is what it looks like to lead yourself well.
Next time, we're moving on to the letter B for belonging. Because as you grow, you'll start asking deeper questions like, do I still fit in here? Is this space supporting who I'm becoming? Who sees me for who I truly am? Whether it's your workplace, your relationships, or even your inner voice, belonging matters. And we're going to talk about it from the inside out.
We will explore how to belong to yourself first and how to find or create communities that embrace you as you evolve. Every new level you grow into will require something different, and the support you gather around you can make a significant difference. We look forward to helping you continue building that bridge between your now and your next.
Thank you for listening. Be sure to subscribe to the Next Level You podcast wherever you listen to your podcast. And if you want to join our exclusive Next Level You community to dive deeper into the concepts we covered in this episode, follow us on Instagram at GoNextLevelU. That's GoNextLevelu. You can also find us on LinkedIn and Facebook by searching Next Level U. That's NEXTLEVELU. We'll see you soon.